Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to be planting these 5 Autumn Lilac Encore Azaleas. These are repeat blooming azaleas. I've shot several Encore videos over the last couple years of doing video work on here. Autumn Lilac is absolutely one of my favorites. It's lavender purple flowers. This is a very compact growth habit on this one. It only gets about 3 feet in height and maybe 3.5 feet in width. So very, perfect little low dome. It blooms 3 times a year. It's also one of the varieties that's hardy in zone 6. And so hardy in zone 6 all the way down to zone 9. So it's one of the more cold hardy varieties. I did a video recently on the 15 Encore varieties that are hardy into zone 6 if you want to go back and watch that video. But I really do like this one, and I'm creating a little hedge here with them. Encore azaleas like moist, well-drained soil. This is an elevated bed that I've mounded up here, so they should like this space just fine. And my soil is very acid. They do like a slightly acidic soil. Encores will tolerate more sun than traditional azaleas, but even they would prefer, maybe 4 to 6 hours of direct sun and then some shade at some part in the day would be ideal. And the trees here on the west side of where I'm planting these are perfect for that. They're just going to get blasted by sun coming up behind me all day, probably until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they're going to be in light shade after that. So that should be absolutely ideal. And like I say, they will be well drained here. One thing I want to talk about on Encore azaleas that, or any azalea, or any flowering shrub actually, that flowers in the early spring. I'm getting plenty of rain this year. I mean, I've been absolutely drowned, so this wouldn't be something that I would be doing this year. But do think about in the late winter, as you start to see buds forming on these azaleas. The flower buds are forming on them right now. This is a time of year when they do require some water. And so if it happened to be dry in the late winter, this would be a time that you'd want to drag a water hose to your azaleas and water them. You're asking a lot of these plants. All at once, they've got to go from some kind of semi-dormancy. They keep their leaves in the winter, but they're in a kind of a dormant state. They've got to swell these flower buds, open these flowers, and then put on all their spring growth. And for Encore azaleas, not only are they going to put on their spring growth, after they put on that spring growth, they're actually going to set buds again for a repeat flowering in the summer. So we're asking a lot of these in a very short period of time. So keep that in mind. In the late winter, you may want to be on the lookout for watering, for putting some additional water on them. They're really easy plants, and if people come in and they always are looking for something that's if you can check, let's check all the boxes. Evergreen, meaning they keep their leaves in the winter. Encore azaleas will meet that requirement. They want something compact and low. Well, this Autumn Lilac is a perfect little low dome without really any maintenance on it. Any fertilizing you do would be now in the late winter, and any pruning you do on it will be after the first flowering in the spring. So really just not a lot of maintenance to do on them. And they're pretty drought tolerant. So they check off a lot of boxes that people are looking for, and plus they bloom 3 times a year. So if you're looking for something that flowers, these will do 2 additional flowerings that other shrubs would not do. So I'm going to get these in the ground here, and this is in a raised bed. Azaleas do, like I say, like to be slightly elevated and not be sitting in water. So moist, well-drained soil is perfect and quick and easy to go in the ground, especially in a raised bed. So there they are in the ground, and if you noticed during that little video snippet, I dug all the holes and then placed them in place, and then I take a look at them and make sure the spacing is right before I cover any of them. That's a mistake I've made many times in my life. I've had to completely redig something back out of the ground. It's easier just to dig all the holes, place them in, make sure your spacing's right, and then cover them up. But these are going to look terrific. They've got a few flowers that have tried to open already, but I'm still a few weeks away from them being in full flower for the first time this spring. I'm about to fertilize everything in my yard, so these will get fertilizer at that time. And something for acid-loving plants would be ideal. I'm going to water them in well. They can be mulched with pine straw or hardwood mulch or whatever you want to mulch them with, but just don't cover any of the stems around the base. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will shoot update videos during the season this year. So if you want to see how these Autumn Lilac Encore Azaleas are performing, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for upcoming videos.